Hello and welcome back to Reddit Instead of the YouTube channel that has a schedule, but it's never followed. How may I say? Where you could wish me onion. This is recorded all out of order, so enjoy the small nightmare. But today we're going to be going over Best of Redditor Updates. Why? Because we're going to do more of Best of Redditor Updates next week. But you'll see there's going to be something different with it. Well, I'm going over that in the next part. Alright, before we start today's video, I just want to say something. Booked a bunch of videos next week. It's going to be Best of Redditor Updates. Here's your fair warning. Going to be done different than other videos on this channel. I told you, didn't I? I guess I got to get to the content before you people stop watching and you guys start thinking that I'm doing this just to squeeze every one of those AdSense out of you. Fun fact, there's no ads here. On to our first post, posted by user/MacBook Couch. I had some friends over at my house and one of my friends invited her other friends to come over. She had her MacBook on my couch when I sat on it and broke it. Since it was completely my fault, I offered her to pay the money for it and she agreed. She got it 3 years ago and it cost $2,200 at the time. I told her I'd wire the money into her bank account in a week. Now she emailed me saying that as per our conversation, she's expecting the $1,700 that I've agreed for. I didn't know why she added the extra money, so I got her number from my friend and called her to find her, telling me now she's expecting me to pay for her new upgraded MacBook since she was upgrading, and she said if I don't agree to that, she'll be suing me in small claims court. Can a judge agree to that? Should I wire her the $2,200 or should I just tell her to go sue me? Alright, on to the I went through every single comment from the 2,000 plus ones, and I sincerely thank each and every one of you. I did some research specifically for repairing the screen of the MacBook, and for her particular model, it's around $310 for the screen plus the labor cost. So I wrote her back saying that she didn't accept my initial offer of $2,200. I'm withdrawing that offer and offering to pay for the repair costs. She sent me an email calling me a female dog, and that she was going to take me to court. I got served a few days later and went to court. I told the judge I gave her 3 options to choose from: either write her a check for a brand new one, which was $2,200, get her a refurbished one from Apple or a third party or even used, which would be around $1,400, or 3, fix her current MacBook since the screen is the only thing affected here and it would cost around $300 plus money for labor. I printed out the email I sent her and the mail she sent back refusing, demanding the $2,700 and calling me a female dog, and saying we'll go to court, plus screenshots for the price quotes from different websites for a new/refurbished one and the screen fix for her particular model, and gave it to the judge. I also told him that when I offered at the very beginning to get her a new one from the Apple store, she said no, I want the money in cash. When I told her I'd give her $2,200 for a new one, she said okay, but later came asking for $2,700 because she wants to upgrade. I tried to show him how it's clearly visible she's trying to take advantage of me. I guess she gave the judge an attitude almost the whole time, which really angered the judge and helped my case, I guess. After listening to both of us, he ruled I pay 50% of the repair costs since she negligently left her laptop on the couch. So I'll be paying not more than $250 for the whole thing. If it weren't for you guys, I would have paid $2,200 instead of around $200, and I honestly loved her look at the end as we walked out. Hey all, before we get into the next post, I just want to give you the warning that there's possible triggers in this video. If that's the case, just don't watch the rest of this video because this is the last post in the video. But they are false accusations, stalking, fraud, identity theft, possible financial abuse, and transphobia. I'll give you a couple seconds if you want to click away. Okay, on to the post. I am a biological cis woman. I am straight, I have 0 children, I have never done surrogacy, egg donation, or even give birth, or came close to it. I was contacted by the attorney listed on the document, a fairly well-known attorney around where I live, to make sure it was legal and legit. Yep, he stated that his client came to him to sue me for backdated and future child supports for a 15-year-old, and stated that I was the biological father. My attorney had my name, address, and info like my birthday, where I went to high school, etc., yet somehow didn't know that I am a woman. The attorney stated that the woman is also in her 40s, repeated her name to me, and verified if I know her. I stated I've never met or heard of her. I am a biological woman who has never had a child, and even brought up that if I was a man and was the bio dad, how she would not be in trouble for statutory rape, as I would have been barely 15 when the child was conceived and she would have been in her mid to late 20s. The attorney stated that as an attorney he needs to follow through and I need to see him and sign the documents and do a DNA test to confirm any relation to the child. I informed the attorney that it's literally impossible for me to be a father, but he won't take no for an answer and told me to bring my lawyer to his office tomorrow. Do I actually need to get an attorney? Can I just show up and be like, look at me, very much a woman, I've never given birth, leave me alone. I need some proper guidance on where to go from here. On to the update part, where OP provided some context to answer some questions that they received via DM. They do not have a masculine or gender neutral name. They have a very long feminine first and middle name, both are spelled very uniquely. They do have brothers, none of them have passed, so she wasn't being sued in their place. They are all alive and well and even easier to get in touch with than I am, as I'm not on social media, and they are all very active on social media and have public pages, LinkedIn profiles, etc. They're much easier to find randomly through a Google search. The SOP has a father. He wasn't the one that she was being sued on behalf of. In the beginning, the woman stated that she didn't have any family. By the way, she told the attorney, I can give him the family he's never had since he's been alone his whole life, referring to me as, even if one of my brothers was the father and I did a DNA test, I didn't, there would still be no way to prove I'm biologically related to this child as I'm adopted. The only relation to my siblings is literally because my parents signed a piece of paper and drove to pick me up from state custody. Also, if she were trying to set up the DNA tests to prove a familial link to the kid without the father present, if she knew anything worth her time about my family, she would have gone to my sister, who is biologically related to the rest of my adopted family. No, thankfully, I have not been a victim of identity theft. This was not someone posing as me, and thankfully there was shady crap in trying to change the paperwork from bio dad to bio mom. In the documents, this woman's lawyer presented my attorney, and the documents I was sent, it clearly states I was supposed to be the biological father. Now, on to the rest of the post. I went to the attorney's office with my attorney as he requested during our call yesterday, and guess what? The suit was dismissed. It happened very quickly. Thank God. I thought we would meet with a judge because that's how I assumed it worked, but he went to the lawyer's office and met with him and the woman who had filed the suit. I got an attorney as soon as I reached out to a friend who lives in my state, and a lot of his family are attorneys. One of the families where it's in their blood, basically. Turns out his aunt handles family cases. He got me in touch with her and we spoke. After I told her the situation, she laughed and said she'd do it pro bono just for the entertainment. Apparently she knows the other attorney and says he's a jerk, so I guess that's a benefit for me since she was more represented. We met with the attorney. I showed my BC ID, passport, adoption papers, and my initial BC prior to adoption for good measure. The attorney was frustrated with his client, obviously, but very kind with myself and my attorney about it. He apologized for the inconvenience. The whole thing was dismissed, and while my attorney initially suggested an order of protection because clearly this woman was unwell, as when we were in the office she was saying that I was a man who had a sex change to dodge support, which is why she referred to me as a he, and said I make more than enough money and my money belongs to her and our child, etc., etc. We ultimately decided against the RO after all this insanity. She was honest about how this came about. She, myself, and my male cousin used to work in the same place over a decade ago. I worked a different shift in a different part of the building. She was a secretary and he was a typical office worker. He is the father of her child, and apparently they had known each other for years prior, but he's also now a convicted violent felon, currently incarcerated and not on the BC. They are the same age and they went to school together in the next town over. Since she had access to my information, as the office still has prior employee records, and knows I'm his cousin, as he told her I was his cousin, and when I worked there, even though I never crossed paths with either of them there, didn't know she worked there, knew he did, but never saw him due to different shifts and areas. She said she confirmed the connection via Facebook because he has our family listed with that, and she was able to link my cousin to his father, which led to my mother, as he has her listed as a sister. She's a sister-in-law, and my mother always has my emergency contact, so she has access to the information. She said since she was able to get my contact information in the easiest way, she figured she could throw a suit at me, get a DNA test, then lead back to him, and she would try to go over him and sue my uncle for support, as he retired from a good job and has disposable income and my cousin incarcerated. No, I don't understand her thought process because honestly, I have no idea how any of this works, if that is even a thing she could possibly do. Also, she said she was recently fired, which is why she came up with this now, and since she knew my cousin was incarcerated and she needed money, she found me via our last name and made a copy of my resume and important info on my file. After all of the theatrics and chaos, she said she finally decided to give up the fight because she realized she couldn't win, especially when I presented my paperwork and mentioned that some of it was my initial adoption birth records before adoption. That's when she realized there was zero chance that the DNA test would get her anything she wanted. But I'm just glad it's over at the end. She gets help, but I'm staying far away and warning my family about her. I hope you all have a great day. Okay, I am going to say this. I know today's video kind of seems low effort. There's a purpose for that. Don't worry. Treats are coming your guys' way, basically. So, today and Wednesday's videos is going to be a little sucky, but you're going to get a bunch next Sunday. So, stick it out with the kind of crappy video here, and then we'll get into the juicy stuff, like we're known for here. Alright, so this is the 20 seconds that I dedicate to being the outro. So, you know, do the things that you do on YouTube. You know what that is. Subscribe, like, comment, you know, all that stuff. Ring the bell. Doing! French fries are not American. They're made in Greece.